Okay, so as you can see, the Hello Spring sign finished cutting. And so now I'm going to remove the wood from the cutting tray. And the easiest way to do so without having to remove all the pieces is to use some masking tape. You could also use your masking sheets and do a whole run across the wood. However, I find it easier just to use the masking tape. So you're just going to lay it across all the pieces and rub it down to make sure it grabs them all. And when I do this process, this will help the pieces stay together when packaging and shipping. If you don't want to do it this way, you can go ahead and just send them a little baggie with all of the letters and the pieces. But for me, I find that it's easier to just take a couple extra minutes and send them with the full sheet of cutouts to make painting easier and packaging easier for me. Now for this one, I'm just going to keep those little holes together so when I'm painting it, the paint doesn't get down in there as bad. Okay, now I'm just going to pull out my cutouts. And so I can just discard this sheet. And pull out the pieces that I'm going to send to my customer. So instead I just have 3 easy pieces to worry about rather than having to worry about each item individually. Okay, so now we have gotten our wood cutouts out of our laser, and now we're going to add our tape to the back of the cutouts to hold the little insert pieces into place, making it easier for packing and painting. Again, if you don't want to provide your customers with the box around the cutouts, you can go ahead and skip this step. But for those who will, I'm just going to show you what I do. So now I just take my masking and I just run it along the back. So I've had requests to do things a little bit differently. A few people wanted to know packaging ideas for mailing their box kits, and others have asked on how they could zhuzh up the packaging, spruce it up, make it be a little bit more fancy so the boxes feel like a present waiting to be opened. So I'm going to show you some ideas that I've come up with. You are more than welcome to use all of the ideas, some of the ideas, or none of the ideas, because after all, this is your business and you will just do things that work best for you. So first, I'm going to show you a new technique that I have learned about shrink wrapping your wood cutouts. So you can either shrink wrap. I got 100 shrink wrap bags from Amazon. I think I went with the 13 by 19 size for $18, I think. I put links in the subscription lounge page. If you don't want to do the shrink wrap, you can always use saran wrap. This right here is furniture wrap that I got from the Home Depot. You could also use Saran Press and Seal if you didn't want to necessarily commit to doing the shrink wrap. Okay, so how you're gonna do your shrink wrap is you're gonna get your bag and you're gonna open it up. And you're gonna slip in, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see everything. You're gonna slip in your wood cutouts. So you've got the backer piece, you've got the layered piece, and the flowers. And you're gonna just slip them all inside the bag. And then you're going to want to cut off some excess because otherwise it's going to become really bulky looking for you. Okay, so I'm going to cut just right along this line. What's that, about 3 inches overhang? Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and flip it over. I'm going to just center this. I think it looks nicest when it's centered. Okay. Now the instructions say to use a heat gun. I don't have a heat gun. And I'm going to assume most of you don't have a heat gun either. So I'm going to use my hair dryer. I'm going to make sure that I don't go too high because it starts making the plastic blow all over the place. So I'm just going to use low for the speed, and I'm going to go hot so it actually shrinks. Okay, so you can see it came together super fast and it just holds it nice and tight in there. See, you can see there's a little bit of the excess piece. If you hadn't cut it, it would have been unmanageable. So then when I go to package this, all my wood cutouts are nice and safe in their little home. So here are my wood cutouts. Let's go ahead and talk about the other items that we're going to be packaging. So for this month's kits, I'm going to be using some ribbon. So this is 1.5 inch wired ribbon. I went with a more neutral color, but you're more than welcome to use something bright and springy. Then for the center of the ribbon, I'm going to teach your customer a super easy way to do their bow. And they're going to need about 1 foot of jute or twine, or you can use a thinner ribbon to correspond with the color. So say like I used a cute purple chevron. I could do a thin black ribbon. I could do a dark purple ribbon. You just want it to be thin. I think you can get thin stuff at Walmart for like 44 cents for a spool of thin ribbon. But the key is thin. I went with the jute to give it more natural look. So you're going to use 2 feet of 1.5 inch ribbon, 1 foot of jute or thin ribbon. Then you're going to want to provide a very thin detail paintbrush to add some of the highlights to the flowers and to the letters. If you choose not to send this with your customers, no worries. They will just skip that part if they don't have their own thin paintbrush. Again, I'll provide the links and everything in your packing sheet. Then we're going to go over paint. In this one, I'm sending 6 colors of paint. These are the 5 milliliter containers that I got on Amazon. The white one I filled all the way to the brim because it's going to be used the most. Then the green, the light blue, the yellow, the coral, and the brown I didn't fill all the way. The brown I probably filled about halfway. These guys, I just did a good healthy squirt of paint because they're gonna just be detail colors. Let's go over the paint colors. So for the green, all of my paint this time happens to be from Anita's acrylic. So for the green, I used the color Lily Pad. For the blue, I used Robin's Egg Blue. For the brown, Warm Brown. For the peachy color, it's called Coral Cove. The yellow is Sunshine Yellow. And then just your basic white. Okay, so those are the paints. For mailing, I would suggest that you put them into a little sandwich or a little snack bag just to keep them together. These lids screw on, so they should be fairly travel friendly, but just to keep them all together, I would slip them into a little bag. Again, if this is for local pickup, you can skip this part. Okay, then the customers always get a few Q-tips, and this is to smear the glue on the backs of the things being glued down. Also clean up for any small amounts of paint or whatnot that need to be wiped down. Then 2 or 3 makeup sponges. I usually send 1 makeup sponge for every 2 colors that I use because I cut mine. And then your little tube of super glue. Some people buy lip gloss containers and fill it with Mod Podge or wood glue. That's always a great option. But these like little single-use super glues are super handy. You can buy them at bulk on eBay and Amazon. I know that in the announcement section of the subscription lounge, there's a link to supplies pinned to the top of the announcement area. And that has super glue, makeup wedges, these containers, I think everything except for these paint brushes because I did not use those in the first 2 tutorials. Finally, you're going to want to send a couple disposable plates and diaper wipes. I usually send a few so they can wipe down their fingers, they can wipe down their areas. It just makes it nice and easy for your customer to have a nice clean workspace. And those will go into their own bag since they're moist. Okay, so here's our supplies. Now we're going to talk about adding some character to our packaging. Right, so here is our pizza box or our box kit that we're going to send to our customers. And as you can see, although it's going to be filled with fun things inside, looking at it, you wouldn't tell that. So we're going to talk about some different options for adding some decoration to the cover of the box. So the easiest way to do that would be to add some scrapbooking paper. So in this case, what you're going to want to do is just get your normal 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, and I cut it down to be 11 by 11, so that way there's a little bit of border around the edge. And so what you can do is you can use spray adhesive, spray it on the back of the scrapbook paper, and then carefully lay it down over the box. So then the next step, and this is going to be new, and I'm going to provide this to you guys from here on out for each of your You Be the Maker box kits. And so on top of this scrapbook paper, you will be able to add a little personalized label. And so right here, I left this place open for you to either write or attach your customer's name. If you are mailing it, this is a 4x6 rectangle, so you can just easily attach your 4x6 mailing label there. And it's gonna have the little picture of the finished kit in the bottom left corner, and in the upper right corner is going to be a place for you to put your logo. So in my case, here's my logo. Julie did it, and I went ahead and I printed it on here. You're gonna get a PDF and a JPEG of this label. If you have the ability, either through Canva or Photoshop or something, to attach your logo to be printed, you can do it that way. Or you can print it onto sticker paper and lay it over the top, or you can print it on regular paper and glue or tape it. So when you open yours up, yours is going to be blank. So that's where you will put your own logo. So what you're going to do then is adhere this spray adhesive and attach it like so. Should we go ahead and do that together? Okay, so I like to cover my space with some packing paper. I'm going to give my spray adhesive a good shake. Okay, and then I'm just going to go over the scrap of paper. Now, if you're using this to mail, you'll just want to make sure that it's nice and stuck on there. You can even run tape along the edges if you're worried about it lifting and peeling. It's just kind of making sure it's nice and secure. All right. And now you can use any paper that you like, pattern, solid, spring. You can have it be the same paper every month so it's associated with your logo. You can have it be seasonal. It's completely up to you how you want to go about doing that. Okay, so that's nice and secured along the edges. And now we're going to do the same thing for the label. And now just kind of do your best centering it. I did print this on cardstock. I just felt like printing it on regular paper would have been too transparent and you would have seen the print underneath. Okay, so now here is the front of our You Be the Maker box kit. All right, so now we're going to talk about packaging ideas to bring it to a new level. So what I would suggest is you go to the dollar store and you get some tissue paper. And what I did is I just kind of folded it so it will fit nicely in the box. Folded it, made it like a little pocket, folded it into thirds. And then I got some crinkled cut paper. I can't know if you can see this, but it's kind of iridescent. And this is just to kind of add a little bit more filler. You don't have to necessarily fill it all the way. Fill it, put a decent amount on here. And again, you're more than welcome to skip any of these steps and just provide the supplies. Okay, so now you kind of got that nice and evenly dispersed. Now you're going to go ahead and put in your actual supplies. You're going to put in your cutouts and your paintbrush, your ribbon and your jute, your paints, your plates, and your other supplies. And then you're going to just fold over your tissue. If you want, you can lay another piece over the top, or you can just leave it like this. This tissue paper from the dollar store was, I believe, 16.5 inches wide by 24 inches. So if your tissue paper is bigger, it might meet in the middle a little bit better. But like I said, you could always just put a tissue paper over the top. Then, oh, I forgot to mention, with this outer layer, you're gonna get 6 different color combination options. So this one's yellow and green. Your other combinations are red and blue, red and green, blue and green, purple and brown, and blue and brown, and then of course the yellow and green. And again, my logo will not be on your printable version. It'll be blank for you to customize. And then depending on the month, the little kit will change here, but those are your color options. So that way, if you can find colors that you think work with the paper or work with your logo, you can customize it. Then every month you are going to get these cute little thank you cards. They will be in the same colors available as the label. Again, you can put your logo up here and you can just sign it. So that will say, thank you for your purchase, Julie. Or you can type codes or write codes here. So this one says, thank you for your purchase. Crafting is more fun with friends. Buy 2 or more kits and save 15%. Use code FUNFRIENDS. This is extra. You can type this in. Yours are going to come completely blank in the same color options as the label so they can correlate. Okay, so then if I was done, I would write my customer's name on the front of the box. Okay, and so once you add your thank you card into your box, you're going to want to make sure you take your customer instructions and you're just going to tape them to the top piece of their box. And then you can go ahead and close this up. It would be perfect to hand off to your customer. Again, if you're going to be mailing this, go ahead and make sure that the label is nice and secure. If you need to run tape across it to secure it, you can. Put on your mailing label. I would suggest taping the box closed. And I know some people have asked about the sturdiness of the box. You can always put some sort of a block here, kind of like they do with pizzas. You know how sometimes they'll put that little circled table thing right here to hold some of the weight. You can always add something like that just right in the center to kind of hold any weight used or any weight placed on it during shipping. But anyway, that is our new packaging technique that's starting for March, and I hope that this helps you be able to take your boxes up to the next level. Again, if you don't like this label, you don't need to use it. You can make your own. You can add your label. You can have, or logo. You can have no logo. You can customize this however you see fit for your business. These were just some of the ideas that I came up with when asked to make the box more creative. But thank you for tuning in. Reach out to me if you have any questions or suggestions. I'm always happy to hear anything that you have on your mind. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.